to New Orleans, you ought to go see the Mardi Gras. If you go to New Orleans, you ought to go see the Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Parade Route. Tonight, we have the very special honor of interviewing with not only the captain of the Krewe of Driftwood, but several past royalty. Currently, right now, we have Joey Lahat, who is the captain, and
I'm the parade captain and Kenner City Councilman, District 3 of the area, and was on the Driftwood board last year when we brought back the parade.
all right, and
I'm Vince Catalano. I am actually a past parade captain. I had the parade for 10 years and actually served on the Driftwood Country Club, Civic Association board for 4 years, and I'm an older member of the neighborhood. And my wife Cindy.
And I'm Cindy Catalano, currently on the Civic, just got off the Civic board, but past Queen in 2010.
okay.
And he was past King in 2003.
Yes.
All right, so I know that this is like the 53rd year of the parade, correct?
52nd, yeah.
52nd.
52nd,
Correct.
52nd.
52nd parade. We skipped
Yes.
in COVID.
Yeah. And y'all are rolling this year on February 4th?
Correct.
That's
correct.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Excited about that.
And something that's real special about y'all's parade is, from what I understand, y'all are the largest neighborhood parade
Yeah,
in the
it's-
state. I would say
Yes.
probably in the United States.
Yeah, statewide, there's no parade that's this dense with people and participants. We have over 50, almost 55 participants and dance crews, bands, floats, and people pull their boats now, which we did last year. Decorate your boat, pull in the parade. Everybody in South Louisiana, a lot of people have boats, so it was a fantastic idea.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of the biggest neighborhood parades in the whole area. We want to keep it in the neighborhood, and people from outside the neighborhood have been coming here for a very long time to see this.
Well,
Yeah.
When he told me that we were going to come meet with you guys, I was excited because Driftwood is my earliest memory of going to any kind of Mardi Gras parade.
Right.
My mama had her best friend lived on the road. So
Is that right?
It's great for little ones, great for babies, little ones, where they can just have fun and be safe.
I want to say it was that house that when you turn on Driftwood, there's archways that are lit up. I think that was her house. I was trying to remember where it was, but I'm pretty sure that was it. But yeah, but also Driftwood was the first parade I ever had friends in, because at the time they had more.
Turn the mic
At
a little
the
bit.
time they had where the Indians, which is kind of like a Cub Scout group.
Right. Yes,
I
they
don't
did.
remember exactly, but yeah, I had lots of friends that went there. So.
Yes, they did.
And it's a great parade for the little ones to march in, because it's not too long, and then they can have fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, my daughter's dance team from St. Anne does it, the Skippers, and all the grammar schools. It's 2 miles, so the kids can get involved, and they're not the 7 mile parade like they have in Orleans. They can do
Right.
it here, and so the kid groups they really do like it.
Well, that's besides Little Rascals, about the only time that the grammar schools get to march in their parades. I mean, like we see Alice Burning every year, which we both attend.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, Bernie's back, But,
Right.
but I've always found that parade fun and great time for the community.
Yeah. Well, for me, attending it and seeing the way that the families get together, not just the families that are participating in the parade, but, like Kirk was saying, that, the first crawfish boil of the season was at this lady's house. That was along the
That's
road,
right.
it's like a giant block party, that you see all these families that live in the neighborhood that get together and, either just reminisce about times past, or just catch up on what they did in the past few days. I mean,
We're on the parade route also, so we always
Yeah.
have a big party. Lots of family, friends, neighbors.
Yeah, and the city really supports this parade. It's been 50 years. The city basically provides, the police, the fire, the supporting personnel, code and everybody for basically free, because it's been such an important, desire for this community and need that the city just makes it happen every year and does a great job from that office.
Yeah.
The city in general is really trying to embrace Mardi Gras
Yeah.
a lot more lately than,
Yep.
it seems like trying to entice other groups to come in. I mean, recently got ISIS.
Yeah, ISIS is rolling in Kenner. A lot of great women that ride that route. And
Me too.
Cindy,
I'm an ISIS lady.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chrissy
Also an
McKinney
ISIS.
rides it. She's a council member. But that's a great group as well. Yep.
So, what can you tell us about the origins of how the parade came to be? I mean, the fact that, here it is 53 years later, or 52 years later, and
Yeah.
the parade is still rocking and rolling.
You gotta ask.
You know,
Well,
So-
we're
Yes, these
actually
little times.
kind of in the
So
middle.
we
Yeah.
kind of joined in the middle, but I do have a little history on it. It was basically back in the old days. The parade was for the whole neighborhood, but it was more of a, I will say. So the floats back in the early days were much more elaborate. I mean,
Bigger,
the
yeah.
first couple of years that Cindy and I were involved in it, we had just moved into the neighborhood, and I mean, our floats had animation. They were really well done, and not that they're not now. It's just it's a different time. But the floats were more street representative. So the floats were named after the streets of the neighborhood.
More
Okay.
competitive.
Because and it was much more competitive back then. We had real wars over the contest
Yeah.
of who had the
I've heard
nicest
about
float.
these.
Yeah.
And that carried on for quite a while. And it's still a wonderful parade. It's
Well, as the neighborhood got older, we had to reach
yeah.
out,
Yeah.
for floats, and now we're
Exactly.
getting a resurgence of young families
Yes.
back in the
So that's
neighborhood.
what the boat idea came to be. We heard that from the older members. We used to have the people that made the floats, and that kind of died off because it requires months of planning.
Right.
And so I said, well, why don't we let people pull their boats, decorate their boats, and you can decorate a boat in 4 hours.
Right.
Well, we put that out there, and we had people, like 20 boats last year in this parade. People love the idea. It's taken off, and
So-
it'll probably be there forever.
I don't know if you noticed, Joe. So we actually had a boat float one year.
I did not know that.
It wasn't actually a boat.
No, we
It
built
was a
float.
float that we turned into a boat. It was back in the days when Frank Davis was.
Oh my
popular.
God,
You remember
wow.
We
Frank
had
Davis?
Wow.
Frank Davis's
So
face
that
on
was the
front.
theme of our float, and it was
Frank Davis.
naturally New Orleans.
Yeah.
Boy, that's I would love to see a
We
picture
still
of that.
It
didn't
was
win
hilarious.
first
You didn't win first place?
No, well, so that was a conspiracy back then, but that's a story for another day.
The Driftwood conspiracy theories.
That's right.
You learn more of those the longer you live here. So
I have a recollection of the floats, but I can't picture. But I remember asking him. I was like,
Oh, I can tell
I
you.
remember years ago there was some pretty large floats that were rolling.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't realize you were
so
building them all.
back in the early days, and this is before me, but I have friends that were here then. The parents, even the smallest children, spent hours and hours and hours sticking paper. What's the paper they use?
Just the tissue paper
The
and
tissue
chicken wire.
into the chicken wire.
Yeah.
They would get together night after night after
Yeah.
night. They went to that much detail in the floats back
Oh, no, I
then.
remember
It
them
was
being
hilarious.
Like every other parade's floats.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they were. Yes,
Come a long way.
a lot of history.
Yeah, I had no idea that
Now
the
we just-
individual blocks built their own.
Yeah,
floats,
it was. It was the blocks. That was how it was done.
So do y'all do an official theme each year?
We do.
What's the theme for this year?
let the good times roll. Last year it was floating back to normalcy because we did the boats for the first time.
Yeah.
And it
And now
was
it's just roll,
COVID.
Nice.
good times roll this year. But no, it's we have 55 different groups, and a lot of people are riding in it. We have some statewide people. John Schroeder, the state treasurer, rode last year.
Yeah.
He's riding again this year. and a lot of local, politicians, and look, it's fantastic. We're
Yeah.
excited. It's a great day.
Yeah, it's always a fun time. It kicks off, I would say, our second most busy day. That one of the things that Kirk and I always joke about is the fact that, every year he and we attend, last year we caught 52 different parades. And, that the Saturday of y'all is always one of our busiest days. And it's our most traveled day because we come out here, and then from here we go to Slidell, catch 2 parades in Slidell.
Oh my.
During the
Poseidon,
day, during the day we catch Bilge, and then we catch Poseidon. And last year we ran back up to or downtown, and we were able to catch Krewe of Driftwood and Krewe of Illusion
Oh my God.
afterwards.
That's a lot in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poseidon and Krewe. I've never heard anybody do that my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
I've lived here a long time. That's pretty serious. Also Mardi Gras folks.
Yeah, but I mean, to see the different styles of floats and the different themes and everything like that, you can't put a tag on it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And I always mention it, but we do all these interviews. We meet the people that are running the parade and putting on the show. I mean, it feels like I'm watching my friends roll by. So it's always fun to see your friend on the parade. It's it's fun to go to.
That's right.
We know half the dance crews at this point.
Well, it was in danger of dying. I mean, the Civic Association was going down, and we reformed something 2 years ago. And thank God Cindy was there because she had a lot of lineage to the traditions of the past. So now we're back and better than ever. So
Were there any years that you didn't roll aside from the COVID?
COVID.
Just the 2 COVID years.
Okay.
No, actually. No, that was just the 2 COVID years. There were no years.
There's a few rainouts where they rolled on the Sunday, things like that.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? At least y'all can just do it another day.
That's right.
Yeah, we could.
It's tough because there's a lot of logistics
You
involved.
lose a lot of your marching
Yeah, you
groups,
need
but
the city gives a lot of support. Fire,
Yes.
police. I mean, it's personnel. It takes
They
a
do a
lot
lot,
of different
yeah.
logistics to pull off even a neighborhood parade. You'd be surprised. It's gotta have.
You can see it, especially like most of the time we had more of the lineup because we are jumping to all those other things. You can see how much
Yeah.
is going on.
Yeah, it's very involved. Even though it's considered a small neighborhood parade, there's nothing small about it.
He was there for long before me. I can tell you.
There's nothing small about it. It takes a lot of people to put it on.
What are some of the special throws that you would say people could look forward to catching? Like when you leave Driftwood, what's typically in your hands?
Well, and I'm not even sure if they still do it because my last few years, even my last few years going, I was having difficulty finding it. But traditionally, the catch of the parade was wooden doubloons, the wooden king and queen doubloons.
yeah.
And the last 2 years that I ran the parade, I got them, but by the hardest.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and they haven't, I don't think they're doing
And
that this
and now we generally do a king and queen cup, plastic cup, and as far as I know, that's the
year.
only.
Yes.
Yeah, Driftwood
Yeah.
cups we do.
Yeah,
And
that's
they,
the only.
they painstakingly listed all the past kings and queens on the cup. So you got
Yes.
a lot of history on that cup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
always remember catching. It feels like a St. Patrick's sort of thing where
Right.
you have candies and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And,
So-
and in terms of the king and queen, I think the next people we interview are the current king and queen. And King Dupre, Arthur Dupre, is actually an attorney for the city of Kenner. He's lived on Madrid a very long time,
Yes.
and he'll have a lot of history for you as well.
Okay.
So, what I would like to say is, going back to the past kings and queens, one thing that I would like to say here is So originally, when the parade first started, I think for the first maybe 10 years, there really wasn't a king. It was a teen queen.
No,
And
they had
then
a king, but then a teen queen. Not
Well,
a queen.
king and then a
Yeah.
teen queen. It wasn't the real queen. And then at somewhere in there, they decided to change the way and the king and queen for the Krewe of Driftwood. It's a very honorable thing because you're not picked king and queen because of who you are. You're picked king and queen because of the service you have performed for first the neighborhood
Yeah.
and then for the city of Kent.
Yes.
That's how we've always chosen our kings and queens.
And that's awesome, that it's not just hey, I know people, make me the
No,
king.
that's-
It's
all about service.
It's what have
Hey,
you
I-
done? And
I've
being,
been president
being
of
on
the-
the Civic Association for many, many years, the Civic Board is who chooses the king and queen, and that was always a thing of honor for us, was to be able to honor someone who has done so much for our neighborhood and for Kent.
That's awesome.
Y'all ever have people just show up randomly at your houses with like king cakes right before the vote, Let me grease that wheel a little bit.
No,
It's
because
almost,
it's always
secret.
it's
It's always
always
a
been
secret.
secret.
we
The
basically
kings and queens didn't even know they were.
we barged in King Arthur's house this year.
Yeah.
We planned it with his family. He didn't know. 10 of us just barged in his house one day when they were having a family dinner, and we all ran in. And
And he
he's
still
like,
didn't understand.
Yeah.
Still
"Why are
didn't
y'all
get it.
here?" He's like, "Come on and
So
eat. There's
funny.
food everywhere." I'm like, "We're just here to eat." So we got in there. We got in his kitchen, and he's looking around. And his kids are like, "Dad, they're here for you." Like, what do you mean? He had no idea.
His kids threw Mardi Gras decorations
And then we
on
took
the
a flag
table
just
and
like
he
this, and we're
finally-
like, "All hail King Dupre." He's like, "Oh."
That's awesome.
So it's kind of really that sudden and surprising, which is I love it. It's fun.
Yeah, I
It
love
really is
hearing
good
the surprise elements when a king is picked.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we've heard that with a few crews to where they'll show up literally at the person's house during dinner, and and the person will think, oh, come on in, we'll make y'all bologna sandwiches or something, and meanwhile you're there to be like,
To honor them, yes.
this is your day,
Yep. Queen's the same thing. Like
Yeah.
Queen Christine, and she's actually on the Driftwood board, but we kind of overrided, her wishes, and we all made her the queen because of all she's done the last year and a half. She's done a lot of work in the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it was very well deserved, and we're just excited.
So, well, I really appreciate y'all, talking with us.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
listening to us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get you the current royalty.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Stay tuned. We'll
Thank
be right
you.
back.
Thank you.
All right. So we are here with the current king and queen of Driftwood, King Arthur
Arthur Dupre.
and Queen Christine.
Christine Hurlbut. Yes.
All right. So tell us, I guess, what's going through your mind being the royalty of the crew. I mean, it's a heavy responsibility to be the, I would say the ambassadors of the crew for the year.
I think I'll let you start off with that
You
one.
go first.
No, you can go first.
So-
Mr. OG, come on, you go first.
Well, I think really the heavy lifting goes to the Civic Association board. They're the ones who plan this. They're the ones who are the backbone to make all this work. They set everything up. And so really they're the ones that really need the credit. And Christine is the president of the board, so all credit goes to her and her board. I have lived here since 1988. I've enjoyed watching the parade over all these years. A lot of my friends are here, the past kings and queens, and watch them in that role. And I would always see them pass my house and just enjoy seeing them do that. Now I get to do that. So I'm very much looking forward to it. My grandchildren and children, I think, will enjoy seeing me in that role. So I'm very much excited for it and looking forward to represent all the past kings and queens in that role and represent my family.
All right.
So little known fact was the board before had actually asked Arthur to be king, and he had to decline that position because at that time he really is about family. and he had all the kids and everybody at the house, and he did not think that he could do the job of being king justice that it deserved in the role that he was really as a father for all of his children. So he had to decline. And so when the board was getting together and we were discussing, the king and queen are always chosen for those who have contributed to the community of Driftwood. And so we were going through who has been king before, who has been queen before, who do we really think amplifies, this position. And then it was like Arthur it was a no-brainer to ask him. And thankfully, he was in a position now that he actually accepted that, and we are so thankful that he did. Unbeknownst to me, however, as being the president of the DPCA, I was nowhere interested in being queen. I did not think that was going to be a possibility. It was not something that I anticipated. And so the board behind my back had gotten together and was like, hey, this is what we're going to do, and will you accept? And a part of me who really hates the spotlight was like, I'm not doing this. But the thing is about Driftwood, I grew up in Metairie. My husband and I bought in Kenner, and we bought here in Driftwood specifically because the community is amazing. They do things, the civic board did things throughout the years, Easter egg hunts, spook to do, things to bring family together, where it was really about, I wasn't just moving into a house with neighbors. I was moving into a community that was going to embrace me and be there for my family and for my children. And that's something there's no price tag that you can put on that. And so when the board decided to nominate me, it's out of my comfort zone. But because of what the community of Driftwood is, there was no way that I could turn that down just to represent the amazing people who live here. And it's awesome. It's awesome. For being a neighborhood.
We were hearing briefly about, the selection process and how they basically surprised you. Understood you were like trying to feed everybody and you didn't realize you were being selected. So what was that feeling?
So it was at my house. The board knocked on the door. I have a large family, and so we have a lot of birthdays in October. And supposedly it was a surprise party, not a surprise party, but a birthday party gathering of our family for those people who had birthdays in October. So I was working in the kitchen doing things. There was a knock at the door, and because this was a planned surprise for me, without me knowing, my next door neighbor,
Yes.
I went and answered the door, and I invited him in. My son is involved, so I thought they had come get him for a meeting. And so I invited them in, and they came in. And as they're setting up to ask me to be king, I'm still working, piddling in the kitchen, getting things set up for the dinner.
He's cutting the onions.
No, he was. He's just like, I don't know why they're here, but I guess okay, whatever.
And then behind me, all my children were taking off the clothes they had on because underneath their shirts they had Mardi Gras shirts, and they were putting on headbands, the girls and everything. They were
His
dressing.
wife got like this thing, and then all of a sudden people putting on the headbands.
They were dressing
and this
behind
and
me,
that.
yeah. So anyway, it was quite a surprise for me. But as Christine said, when we moved into the neighborhood, it was for the very same reason: the family, the loyalty, the camaraderie, the close knit aspect of everything. People rallying around each other. And Christine undersells what she's done. There's been we moved in '88 when things were active and rolling. And a lot of the people in the other room, the past kings and queens, were part of all that. Then after Katrina, there was a lull in the activity in the Civic Association. Christine, with some other people, was part of the resurgence of that in the neighborhood. So a lot of credit goes to her and the people that she's working with to bring that community sense back to Driftwood.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, Kirk and I, we've been attending the parade.
I've been coming since I was like one.
Yeah.
It's the 53rd, not including COVID, but
can't say
53rd,
that
it's
was
the
all.
53rd year.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's been, I mean, there are not too many, you hear on the news, it's like, oh, this crew's been around here for this long, it's like 53 years in Driftwood.
Right.
But, but it's been around for a
When you
while.
turned 50, I saw on the news like Driftwood turns 50, and
Yeah.
I'm getting close to that number, and I'm like, oh, it's been that long, but then I realized, I've been coming to a house on the road here, basically since I was born.
Yes.
And it is,
know,
and it's,
so-
I mean, it's one of those. And so like when I was a kid, my mother was all about Mardi Gras, and so when I was a child, we were packed up at 3:00 in the morning with a bucket of Popeyes, and we were heading down to the avenue, and we were camping there all day long to see the parades with the ladders and the this and everything. When I was little, this was my mom was this is what you do. And then I grew up in Metairie, so then it was just all the Metairie parades and going out to veterans and everything. We still did St. Charles Avenue, but then it was going out to that. And then all of a sudden, here's like Driftwood, and we moved into the neighborhood, and the parade passes in front of our street. And now I'm like, there's a tent in my front lawn, and we're just putting the lawn chairs out, the chairs out on the front lawn, and the parade passes by, and it's amazing. Like I would see like my 1-year-old and my 3-year-old dancing in the streets, and I'm just like, what? Like it's just that feeling that they get to experience something that I experienced when I was a kid, and then I realized that there's not a lot of people experiencing that.
Yeah.
It's
Years,
growing up in
years
New Orleans
ago,
here. It's special. It's special.
Like years ago, there were a lot of neighborhood parades,
Yes.
but they're all kind of on a single route now. But the neighborhood parades wasn't unique to Driftwood, but you were the kind of one remainder
Yeah.
that
Yes.
has lasted all this time,
So over the years, when my kids were younger, all their friends would come over for the Driftwood Parade. We'd have a big party, hot dogs and chili and chicken and everything, and it was the place to come. And as they grew up, they would continue to come, and then when they got married and had kids, then they would start coming with their kids. And now our grandkids come. So it's a generational thing that has really been able to experience the consistency of the effort to put on a quality parade that has marching groups, has bands, has floats, and just as politicians who come to be able to be involved with their constituency. There's a lot of good things that happen, and the kids get to see that and enjoy that.
So, you'd mentioned earlier that, for years you've been watching, all of your friends who are here at this party as well, as they served as royalty. What tips have they given you, or what things have you remembered about their ride that you're like, oh, I'm going to do that in the parade?
To relax and enjoy and embrace everything and just take it all in and just have a good time, because that's what it's all about. And to be there for them and to not get too wrapped up in the technicalities of it.
How about you?
Well, I'm wrapped up in the technicalities, so I'm a little different. So
She's wearing 2 hats.
I'm wearing 2 hats, and this is the first time that a board member, an active board member, has been elected as queen. So not only was I like, if you know anything about Mardi Gras and like in parade crews, it's not just you start. Mardi Gras can be anywhere from like early to late February or sometimes March. You don't start in December. It's a years-long process. To get everything done, to reach out to past participants, to make sure that you have people that are going to be involved. Bids go out in September and October from all of the major crews that are around town to all of the schools and the bands and the groups who are going to participate. So in order for us to secure some of those people who are going to be here, we have to be active. We have to be active in that. So I have actually been planning this since June. Since June, I have been getting my emails together, my participant list from last year, who's going to be here, who isn't, who am I going to contact, how many people are we actually actively able to hold. And so I've been doing this, not just me, it's actually been me and my board, have been doing this since June to kind of prepare for this. So I'm in the technical part of it. And so like from that aspect, it's kind of like, I'm scared because normally I'm there like with the staging and with everything else, and then like this year I'm like, I gotta turn the reins over to other people. I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm going to enjoy my day, and I know the board is amazing, and they're going to be able to carry this off. But it's been a journey to go from the technical and then like actually just to try and to sit back and enjoy it. So we have over 59 participants this year, not just as floats, but it's 30 float/boats plus all of the dance crews and the political participation. And for being a neighborhood parade, I was really, I guess, taken aback because of some of the interest that some of the politicians have shown, which I'm like, we're Driftwood. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to sit there.
Parish, and city.
And it is a state, parish, and city. So there's Kirk Talbot, there's Debbie Villio, there's John Schroeder, who are all going to be participating. Jefferson Parish President Cynthia Shang is going to be in the parade. And that's, you look at you think like a neighborhood parade, and to have these people to take notice of that is humbling to me. I'm thankful that they have acknowledged this, but it's very humbling that they want to take part in a 2.2 mile parade that goes through a neighborhood that will have 3-4 people deep as you're going through the neighborhood. It really is. Yeah. But it's, like I said, it's very humbling that not just our local city council, but also the parish and state representatives are getting involved in this. So.
Well, I mean,
I'm
it's
humbled.
I would say that it's proof to the fact that Driftwood is such a wonderful neighborhood. That all these different officials from state on down ranks want to be a part of it and want to help support the parade any way that they can.
And we appreciate that.
Yes, very much so.
There's a pretty good reason that people don't generally move out of this neighborhood, though. Everybody I've ever known that's in this neighborhood has been here. Since birth. I mean, they just don't go, So.
When we were going around for Joey Lahat, who's our D3 representative, we were doing his for his campaign. We had to go we were going to door to talk to people. How long have you been here? This. Why, and he would talk to them about why, what his stance was to be nominated and how he can help with D3, which is the district that we're in. And I can't tell you, there was very few people that we talked to that have been at their home for 10 years or less. Yeah. Everybody was like, I've been here 15 years, I've been here 20 years, I've been here 40 years. And I'm like, it's people have been here, and it's a staple. And their families have moved back, and they've been here for a while, which is it's a nice testament. Yeah,
I'd also imagine that in some situations there probably is even people to where it's like, oh, I grew up 3 blocks away.
Exactly.
Like you're saying, I bought a house over here.
My
15
daughter,
years ago, 20 years ago.
I have a daughter and son-in-law with their children who live around 2 streets over from where we live.
Yeah, it really is a wonderful neighborhood, and you see the camaraderie and the pride in the neighborhood by the quality of the parade that y'all put on every year.
And the loyalty, these people date way back to when we moved in '88.
They're the
they're
OGs.
Still here, they're still friends. They're here to support this process and the parade, and it's just a credit to them and to the neighborhood tonight.
So y'all gonna bring back the wood nickel this year?
Yes.
Yes?
He doesn't know that, but yes.
Breaking news. All right.
Well, I have cups that I've made for both of us that have a list of all the past kings and queens from the beginning to now.
So I went ahead. Yes, well, they're a little. I couldn't find the original ones. So I went ahead and ordered some, and hopefully, like your pin problem, they're please. They should be here by the time of the parade. That I was going to share some with him, and we're going to have the wood nickels. They're going to be back. The emblem will be. It has the DPCA on one side and it says Krewe of Driftwood. That's going to be on the other.
I have some of the old ones.
So yeah, I'm hoping. Please, I'm hoping to bring that back for the shipment.
That'll be amazing.
Oh, hopefully it is.
I know that a lot of our listeners who are hardcore to balloon collectors will their ears perked up just now when they heard that.
Not the plasticky, metal-y thing. No, they're the wooden nickels, purple, and then they have, like I said, the one side is going to have the DPCA, and the other side basically says Krewe of Driftwood 2023. So hopefully we'll have those.
Yeah. But they are unique. They are collector's items.
Yes.
And come to the parade to get yours.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably one of the reasons that we had come to the Driftwood Parade every year, because my dad is a balloon nut. But I remember running after one and like, oh, there's one over there. I see it on the ground. Go get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I want to say only the King and Queen ever threw them. So if you didn't get them from them, you weren't getting them.
Yeah, it's not something that the crew is going to have. It's something that's just, it's just for the king and the queen to throw out. So hopefully we're going to be bringing those back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you all for being here. We appreciate
This is
it.
awesome.
Yeah, thank y'all. I mean, we've like Kirk said, some of his earliest parading memories are with the Krewe of Driftwood.
Yeah.
And
my earliest memory of going to a parade was on Driftwood. The Krewe of Driftwood. That was always my first crawfish boil of the year.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
So it was like, there's a lot of past history with me and Driftwood. I was excited when he said, you guys agreed to do it.
It is people set up and they do they put their tents and it's a big block party and everything that year, and it's the day to come out and to celebrate your friends and your family and your neighborhood and everything around you, and it's for the kids, especially for the littles. For the littles it's awesome. I mean, and they run and they jump and they dance in the streets and they have fun, and it's great.
It's the perfect environment.
It is the perfect environment. It's awesome.
We have a buddy that we bring to this parade every year, and his son comes with him. And his son is one of those parade pack rats to where if it's on the ground and it was thrown off of something, he's bringing it home. And we watched, I want to say last year or maybe 2020, he had literally like handfuls to where he couldn't even see when he got to his car. He basically had to drop everything on the ground so that he could get to his keys.
And that can be something like, so people would think it's like, oh, it's just a neighborhood parade. Like, what are they going to throw? Oh my Lord, they throw.
Just like the big parade.
They throw. So my first year moving in, the parade, we're on the first block that the parade comes through, and I mean, I knew it was there, but I didn't realize how, I didn't realize the impact that it was going to have. But you don't know. Mm-hmm. And so we were out there, we set our lawn chairs out, and we're like, we blocked our lawn off, you can't park on my driveway, and people were coming by, and when I mean throwing, like, oh my Lord, my kids can't. I have those crawfish sacks, like the purple crawfish sacks that you can get, and 3 of them filled. Like, and this is a little, you can see like a little neighborhood, but they're throwing, and it's not just like chinky beads. Like, they are buying the good stuff. Yeah. And it's not just, oh, this was recycled from last. It's like they go out and people buy and they throw and they throw, and it's a lot of stuff. And my kids were like, all the stuffies, and then the beads, and then we had moon pies, and then we had chips. And you name it, it was a gambit of things, and it was amazing. Because I was like, oh, we'll have a little, like, here's my little bag, you know what I mean, like my little Walmart bag, and we'll probably fill that up. No, it was people were throwing stuff, and it was. I did not expect that. I kind of underestimated.
Well, that's what he did that year. Was he had brought just a little Swagman's bag or whatever, expecting that he'd have plenty of room to spare.
Yeah, nope.
And that bag was tied to his belt, and his hands were full.
Yes, definitely. They throw.
I thought it was hilarious. So, like, we were I don't know, a half a block behind them, there was just a trail following him because it was dropping off as it was going. So I ended up picking up probably a handful this big and was like, there's your stuff.
Yeah.
He had a trail of breadcrumbs behind him for sure.
And I can tell you, this parade is going to be amazing. Like I said, we're going back to like the technical part of how many participants we have. You might think it'd be like float, and our floats are people. It's neighborhoods, so it's trailers, it's boats. These people are constructing this in their backyards, and they're putting these things together. It's their boats that they're decorating and they're bringing out. So you would think like 2 or 3 of them, and then there'd be a marching group and 2 or 3. There is a marching group or a band in between each and every single float because of the amount of participants that we have. We have a car club that's coming in. Besides, we have old fire trucks that are coming in carrying people's families. There's bands. There's for local schools, Christian Brothers and Bonneville, and Kenner Discovery is going to be participating. A lot of it is really great because it's the local elementary school where the littles can't participate in some of the other parades.
Yeah.
So we have all of the littles. Audubon Elementary has a band this first year, so they're going to be participating with us for their band. Kenner Discovery has the largest pep squad in the state of Louisiana, 166 girls.
Wow.
From first into 4th grade, and so their pep squad is going to be participating. Memorial Baptist, Atonement Lutheran are going to have their cheer teams. One of the highlights that I'm really actually waiting to see is St. Therese is going to be participating. St. Therese has a cheer team this year,
Nice.
a cheer and dance team, which I am so excited to see them, and they're going to be participating with us. And that pulls at my heartstrings with them. So I'm really happy to see that St. Therese is going to be out. But there's so many local elements, and it's not just like the high schools and this. It's so many of the elementary school kids who don't get to participate in Mardi Gras normally that are going to be able to participate in this, and I'm excited about that.
We're both Bernie Bears, so we see
there you
Alice
go.
Bernie come by. We're like, hey, Alice Bernie.
They're not in it this year.
Oh, what?
They didn't answer me. They may be in it next year.
Yeah, I think you see him in this one and maybe Little Rascals. That's about all.
Exactly, like Little Rascals, and that's kind of
about
it.
all
So,
they can really
but
do.
this is one where it's 2.2 miles. I mean, yes, it's not long, but it's full. It's it's full, and
Oh,
so it's really great.
I mean, it's a full-size parade.
Yes,
I mean, it is,
it really is.
You think of neighborhood parades, most of the time they maybe stretch a block. Your parade probably stretches the whole route at some point, because it goes on for a while. It's not a
It's so for the Route for Driftwood, it's at 2.2 miles for them to go, from start until finish, and it doesn't. We pace it pretty well, and it doesn't stop, and it's really
Over the
really
years,
amazing.
we've tried to explain to people we know the kind of parade it is, and they go, "Oh yeah, neighborhood parade, blah blah blah," and then they come and they go, "Wow, this is
It's a
not a
parade."
neighborhood parade.
Yeah.
It's not a big parade like you see on Mardi Gras Day or leading up to Mardi Gras, but it's much more than what people expect. And
Right.
they keep coming back because of that. They enjoy it and they like it. So.
Yeah, you see neighborhood parade, I picture a kid being pulled
In a wagon,
wheelbarrow.
like the Girl Scouts that
Yeah.
went around from the school,
Right.
or something like that. Like they came around, yeah.
That's what you picture, but I remember when I was a little kid, they had large floats. And I didn't
They-
even realize that they built them
Yes.
in the neighborhood. I thought they were real floats.
In the early
Well, we
years,
do. We actually have a few groups that actually have. So, because it is in a neighborhood street, there are size and height limits.
Yeah.
But so we do have some mini floats that you actually see going down Veterans Highway and things like that. But a lot of them are built. But when I mean built, they put the sides up, and it's built like a float.
Yeah.
Sure.
in the early years, I know even now,
I don't know. Pink stuff.
What's that?
Pink stuff. Whatever. Pink stuff.
my son-in-law,
That's a good captain. Right?
they're going to build a float, but you get a stake body truck and you put the plywood, you pinch the plywood with bolts and you decorate the side. So it's stake body trucks, trailers, and they just build up the sides. So it ends up being, and there were years when they had moving animated things
Yeah.
on the floats. where they had motors. Some of the engineers in the neighborhood would do something with motors and belts, and they would have heads that would move up and down. So it's been, over the years, been quite a progression of things.
Yeah, I'm about to try to find some old photo albums. I'm sure we have some, but I picture it as like a pickup truck, but the float started at the beginning of the pickup truck, and you would just see like the driver peeking out.
It was
a
built
hole in
over the
middle.
truck.
Right.
Think, Sean?
I know.
Are we okay? We're good, King?
But yeah, no, so I remember that finally, and but I didn't realize they were building it until they mentioned
Yes.
it. So,
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So each year there's, I mean, just like your regular cruise, each year there's a theme. And so people, they build their floats with theme, and it can be the trailer that you throw the kids in, that you build the sides up, and then you cover the sides, and then they could all look like they're in a crawfish pot, or they could all look like they came from Schwegmann's, or they can all look like, And so, so this year I'm really interested to seeing what people come up with, because we have 30 float boats that are going to be entering, and we have a big umbrella for the theme, which is it's basically it's like let the good times roll New Orleans style, but we want to see what it means to you, what New Orleans means to you. What does New Orleans culture, or what music? So what song stands out to you?
Yeah.
What ain't there no more? That you really miss,
Right.
that we want to see. What stands out to you? What does New Orleans mean to you? Is what we want to see that comes across in these floats. So the umbrella is kind of wide, but we want to kind of see what what everybody comes up with. So it's gonna be really interesting this year.
Looking forward to it.
Well, I hope you enjoy your ride, and
We will.
look
We
for
will.
us. We really wanted to bloom.
Yeah. Yeah, hail Driftwood.
I think I might be able to save one or two for you.
And a cup with all the kings and queens. on it.
Yes.
Well, thank you all.
Collector's
again.
items.
Thank y'all. Hail Driftwood.
Invitations.
Signing out. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with another guest. All right. We are back with Mr. Russell
Diodene.
Diodene.
It's a tough one, yes.
Yeah.
If you
So,
pronounce it correctly, I know you know somebody in the family.
so you were king in 1984, you said?
1984. That was 7 years after we moved into the neighborhood.
Okay.
And as I was speaking to you before you went live, the thing you did, you found out real early, if you knew some people already in the neighborhood, and we did, is that you became a member of the Civic Association, number one. And number two, you joined the little country club as well. That was kind of like the core, the center of the neighborhood, and that everybody gravitated to. Everybody's kids played at the playground next door. There was a nice little Olympic-sized pool there, and a kiddie pool as well, but everybody got there. I got lucky enough to do some coaching at the playground. Got involved with the Civic Association. So did my wife. In fact, she was secretary 1 year and then president of the Civic Association.
All right.
That was her bailiwick. I just stayed as a member so I wouldn't infringe somewhat. But I got active in the club and was on the board of directors there and ended up managing the little bar that was there. And we tried to get a little innovative. And so I had to name business names. Joey LaBella became a friend. He had LaBella's Meat Market. He's still in business. And Joey would give me a nice price on a little 6-ounce New York strip, about a half-inch thick. And we would do a baked potato with all the fixings available. And I charged $7, which about covered my cost. But we made out like a bandit at the bar. We make money at the bar. So we kept that up, and we'd alternate the menu. We'd have red beans and rice naturally one week. We'd do meatballs. I'd make meatballs and do my mother's recipe for the red gravy and do the spaghetti, and that was easy enough, except for rolling the meatballs. Shrimp stew. We even did fried shrimp. Sometimes some of the guys that go fishing come back with a lot of fish, and we'd fry fish, but it was always cheap, just enough to cover our costs.
Yeah. You sell
But
beer.
then beer and highballs type of thing, and it was just something else that helped the neighborhood just be cohesive, and a social night out. We had dances there during the holidays and whatnot. Never did a live band, but we had GJs come in. Just had a good time, and it was a great neighborhood.
Yeah. And it still is. Still is.
Absolutely. Well, some of these younger folks, Joey, Frank Catalanata, and some others, kind of resurrected the Civic Association from the ashes, like a phoenix rising again. And the first gathering of a lot of the old kings and queens started last year here at Joey, right before he ran for the council seat and whatnot. But it was great to see a lot of folks, many of whom moved out of the neighborhood, but it was good to see them again when I came back in. So
do y'all do like a gathering of past royalty every year?
No. First time
That's a lot of them here.
Yeah, well, the first time in a lot of years was, again, last year here at Joey's house. And he was new to the neighborhood, fairly new to the neighborhood. And like I said, they had gotten together to resurrect the Civic Association, found out about the parade and the history behind the parade.
Yeah.
There was, it was a little bit, in fact, I think would count as the oldest parade in the city of Kenner.
Yeah.
And typically we had people that would come with their kids from outside the neighborhood and be on the route. Right? And I mean, it was a rainbow of people out there.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody came, everybody had a good time. Marching groups from Roosevelt and some of the other schools, the Cub Scouts, a lot of the politicians gathered people who had convertibles, and along with the king and queen, they rode in the convertibles. It was hoi polloi time.
Yeah.
And it was a good time, and sorely missed. But some of these folks are coming from across the lake to make this gathering, and it's nice. So,
yeah, I mean, we make this parade every year for the past at least dozen, and he goes back even further to where.
Oh yeah, my mama had a friend on the route, so I've been coming here since birth.
Yeah.
So.
Well, my son came back for the first time in a long while with his two boys that were 12 and 10, now 13 and 11. But they came to see the parade because it was just known as a family parade. Good fun, and nobody was trying to step on your hand to get a doubloon.
Right.
Whatever.
Oh, you must not have been nearby my dad. But you've seen roughly, 40 parades now here?
Yeah.
So any particular favorites or anything that stands out as a real memorable year?
Yeah, well, not so much the year as some of the groups. Fast Eddie's Half-Fast Marching Club. And people would swear up and down that we were all drunk as skunks. A few were.
Weren't that bad yet.
Oh no! But I mean, we had a good time. We had a good time out there, and I don't really drink. I think maybe, and we had a keg in the bandwagon, and I think maybe I'd have one or two beers, but loved to dance, so did everybody else, and you got into it real well, and you were getting hugs and sometimes a kiss for a pair of beads like they do at the big parades and whatnot, and everybody was just joining together for a joyous, fun time. And more than one particular parade standing out, it was just the overall aura of the happening of that little parade that sticks with you. You know, joyful time.
So, as a king, as a past king, what kind of tips can you give to this year's royalty to make their ride the funnest that they can? You know.
Well, I'm going to tell you about King Billy. I won't mention his last name. We used to have the gathering of guests in the King and Queen party at the little country club, right? And I was there to greet him. I was one of the co-captains that year. And he got out and he says, everybody seemed to know my name on the parade route. And I turned him around and I said, Billy, look, because your name is on both sides, both sides of the convertible. And Billy's a physician, you know, so he got a big kick out of about that as well. But just have fun, and enjoy yourself, and it's hard not to. You'd have to be the Grinch that stole Mardi Gras rather than Christmas, not to be one of the king's selected queens and not enjoy yourself. It's just impossible. Impossible. Enjoy it. Sit back, relax, have a good time. Throw your wooden. At that time, we got to get the little wooden doubloons.
They're coming back this year.
Yeah.
I just learned they're coming back this year.
And throw those. I got to have my son and my daughter with me. They rode, so that was enjoyable as well. You know? I don't know. It was Nancy Boniface. Did you interview her?
No.
Nancy? No. She's the one that kept saying you go over. They need people to interview. That was my queen that year, and she was a neighbor just a couple of houses down the street.
Okay.
But it was a big secret type of thing. You didn't know who had nominated you or anything like that. And Billy's, I was telling you the story about his wife Linda's the one that had nominated me. But I mean, all I did was do what everybody else I thought did, and that was coach the kids, participate and support the playground, and be active, you know, with the Civic Association and active with the little club. That was hogs heaven. That was great. I just ambiance is a big word, but everything gathered together, living in Driftwood with the neighbors that were here and the people you became associated with at the club and the playground and the kids. I'd have paid to do that, and I could not have been the most surprised person in the world that I was going to get to be king, because they selected somebody they thought had contributed highly to the neighborhood. That's what it was all about.
Yeah, that's the one thing that it seems like so far everyone that we've spoken with has said is the honor of being selected. You know, when they were doing service in the community, they weren't doing it to get accreditation or anything like that.
There was no ulterior motive there.
Right. It was just like, hey, I want to make it. I want to make my country club the best damn country club it could be.
You had fun,
you know?
and it was a good time.
Right.
It was a good time, you know. So it was easy.
Yeah.
It was easy. When Linda called me on the phone to tell me that I had been elected, I said, "Come on, you're gonna be kidding me?" Huh? She says, "No, I'm perfectly serious." Could have knocked me over with a feather, but it's that kind of a neighborhood, and like you're saying now, I think most everybody had that same reaction. What, me? You gotta be kidding, you know?
Well, I like how that tradition of the surprise and selecting somebody that supported the community has been going on a long time, I suppose.
But to one degree or another, almost everybody. You had some families that, like at the little 5 and 6 year old, 7 and 8 year old football, right? Yeah. I kind of moved with my son as he grew in doing coaching. Tom Dempsey, God rest his soul, lived on Lake Trail over here. and the 11, 12-year-olds, his boy Toby and Danny, and we were good friends with he and Colleen when they lived on Lake Trail over there. But he enjoyed it because nobody made a big deal out of the fact that it was Tom Dempsey.
Right.
You know.
I always find it hilarious how many people claim to have been at that game where he kicked a 62-yarder.
Yeah, against Detroit. Yeah, actually, I was there.
Oh, here's another one. That stadium must have held 4 million people.
Tulane Stadium. He had chickens were cheap and whatnot. You know.
No, it feels like everybody that was alive at that day claims to have been at that game.
Yeah, but he had the shoe that he used, and the ball naturally that he used to kick that with.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but when he was with San Diego, he did more than just kick. He was a guard on offense.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, when he was at San Diego, he played on the offense as a guard.
Wow.
No, he big guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he kind of walked with a little lava, but you didn't want to mess with Tom.
Yeah.
We could sit next to him and would look skinny. He was a great guy. Great guy. Raised a great family. You know, so that was enjoyable being associated with him. But you hear about a lot of celebrities that come to New Orleans because they're not put upon like they are in other places. But people recognize and wave, say hi, and acknowledge that they're there. But it's not a big deal. I was getting interviewed for a job by my potential employer at the steakhouse that was out on River Road. I don't know why I can't remember.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Who's in there but Sammy Davis Jr. You know, and he was having a meal, and when I was leaving with Dan, the guy that was interviewing me, I walked over to him, shook his hand, and said, "Enjoy, listening to you and your comments and your singing, and I appreciate you being here." And I walked out, and he came out and he stopped me, and he expressed that same thing about the fact that nobody just hung on him or mobbed him. And I've heard that from a few other people. That was the reason they come. Well,
it's unusual. We're not a star-struck sort of town. We just, I don't know. I guess everybody's met enough of them over the years that
it was nice that they were there. But then, the latest story was Taylor Swift, who was at the Jazz Preservation Hall that sat in the back. Sam, I mean, I'm sure somebody had to recognize her.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's not like she's a.
Unknown.
She looks like like your everyday Jane, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, she's recognizable. But in a sense, that's the same type of feeling you had in Driftwood, where everybody's surprised that they were picked out of a crowd to be honored, and it is an honor.
Yeah.
As to, are you sure you want me to do this type of thing? Because you're not thinking of yourself in those terms. And I don't know anybody who went out of their way to purposely do things to be selected.
Right.
See, I was joking earlier that, you go grease the wheels, but delivering king cakes to all the board members the week before the vote, I just happen to have a spare king cake.
It was fun, but I've enjoyed it, and I probably will be here until the good Lord says so. And I'm going to enjoy every day of it, and sit here and grow old.
Well, we definitely enjoy Driftwood every year, and we definitely look forward to y'all's ride again this year.
Well, we thank you for coming and highlighting this. It's when Nancy said you need to go get interviewed, and then I found out she didn't come get interviewed.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it.
Your Highness.
That's not what my wife calls me.
We'll be back. We are back here with 3 more past royalty of the group. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Scott Moladu, 2009, King.
Don Murphy, 2002, King.
Nancy Boniface, 1984.
All right. So, tell us a little bit about your reign as royalty.
Well, I was in Civic Association for a few years, and before that, we always did a lot of stuff at the club. I was on the board of the club from the first year I got in, not because I wanted to, they made me do it. But then once I got to know everybody, it was really worth doing. And at that point, we kind of just morphed into the Civic, and we started doing a lot of the cooking and a lot of the entertainment stuff. And next thing I knew, I was the president. And 2 years after that, I was the king. So they came and saw us. But it's been an incredible journey. My best life friends are all here, you know. And a lot of drinking and a lot of partying. So it's been a great experience.
Scott and I basically came in about the same time in this neighborhood and becoming active in it, coaching at the ballpark, being on the board at the club, being on the Civic Association. All of those things combined, we've always been very active in this association. Matter of fact, my wife was queen with him the year that he was king. And so it's been sort of a group of us that have always been active in this neighborhood, that have always looked to do better things for the neighborhood. This has always been a family neighborhood, which has been great. And when I came in to buy my house in 1983, I looked around this neighborhood and everything was so centrally located with a ballpark, a club, a school, that we looked at each other and said, if we're going to have a family, this would be a great place to do it. And this association has been active that whole time. It has done so many wonderful things to keep this neighborhood invigorated. Unfortunately for everybody in this city, Katrina came along and changed a lot of things. And, these younger people now, since my kids are in their 30s, have gone on and are trying to get this back, and hopefully we can get it back to where it was back then, to get more people involved and find out how we can do that and make this just a better neighborhood.
I'm Nancy Boniface. I was queen in 1984. I am the oldest one here. And we moved here from New Jersey.
Okay.
And when I first came into the neighborhood, I'm like, there is absolutely no way I'm going to live there. The houses are like this, they're so close to each other. I felt like if I flushed my toilet, my neighbor would hear me flush my toilet. But I will say, it has been the best neighborhood in the world. Our first Mardi Gras parade was awesome. I live on Lake Trail, and we would go down to Tom Dempsey's house, and we would build floats by Tom Dempsey's house, and Tom would come out, and we would did the tissue paper and put it in the chicken wire, and we worked for weeks at a time. And this is when we had mobile. They moved everything. It was wonderful. But the best thing is that Tom would make the best Bloody Marys on Mardi Gras Day, and the guys, the night before Mardi Gras, before our parade, they would go to Old Absinthe House and drink with Tom and come in like at 4 in the morning, and then we would parade. And another good memory of the Mardi Gras parade is when all the kids had the measles, and my kids did not have the measles, and everybody's like, well, okay, we're putting them on the float even though they have measles, and I'm throwing mine on the float too because I want them to get the measles.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is what the neighborhood was all about. You know, we didn't care. We had fun, and it is the best neighborhood. I mean, yes, it's completely changed, but I am one of the ones that are still here. And my husband was also a king, and he was a 50th year king, and it's just great. We love it, and that's the way it is.
Weren't your grandkids in last year?
My grandkids, yeah.
Who was last year?
Yeah, I mean we've just kind of start bringing them in, and my grandkids live in, Metairie, and they keep on saying, they'll call us up and say, "There's a new house. This house is there," and we'll look at it like, "No, this is our memories." Yes, Driftwood has changed, but it's going to come around, and hopefully every parade will bring people more and more to where they want to live here and stay here.
Do each of y'all have a piece of advice that you could give to this year's royalty to make their ride the best ride they could?
I would say start with Bloody Marys early in the morning, just so you can tolerate, because it's going to go fast. And if you got to enjoy it and just embrace it like it's a party. And, bring the king this year has 11 children and 27 grandchildren. Okay? So he's bringing his own party.
Yeah.
Okay? So we know he's going to have a good time, but this thing has always been about having a good time. It's a couple of years ago, we had a bunch of our kids who are young guys in their late 20s, early 30s, who all came back and marched. They joined the marching group. And because of that, they totally came and enjoyed it. They had a great time, every one of them, and said, "I need to do this again." Unfortunately, that's when everything hit and we missed the parade for a year. But it's about getting those young guys back, and it's not a big parade. It's not a fancy regular Mardi Gras parade. It's a neighborhood parade that we have always had the people in this neighborhood who have kept it going. And my advice would be just keep bringing your kids back and show them how much we enjoy this.
We've been coming for several years. Kirk and I, just as friends, kind of thing, and we always have a blast at this parade. We've got a couple people who follow behind us and come out. So
it is so low key. There's no pressure on anybody.
No.
This isn't a big
We do
parade.
need to get Eddie's marching band back. Eddie Roth started this, I can't tell you how many years ago, and it was the best thing in the world. And then when Eddie left, my husband Tony took it over, and because of COVID, we kind of lost the band and everything like that. And we lost, I hate to say it, everybody's getting a little bit older. No one wanted to do that 2.5 miles.
Most of the people in the band are dead too, so I don't know.
Well,
We gotta find
yeah.
a new band.
But it's a wonderful thing, and I hope that maybe now, because the Dupreys are involved, that maybe they can start up their own marching band after next year and get it together, because that was the most wonderful thing in the world, was when you're a king and a queen, that they're right there and they're playing, and it was so much fun. It really was. It was such a wonderful thing, and we had, I don't know who led it, like Bonneville or somebody like that led it before. But we always had the marching band right there, and they're all our local friends. Art Ryder was the band, that's right.
Arch pushing up daisies too, isn't he? Yeah, he's a goner.
And I can remember he'd be riding, he'd be in charge of it, and I'd be chasing Art Ryder down, and he'd be at Rouse's, at the grocery store. I'd have to make sure he had everything he had, all the beer and all that stuff. So no, we need to get that all back.
I
So
believe his band's still going.
Is
Yeah, I think so, huh? The
He
band
had a
still-
son.
yeah.
He had a son who played. Yeah, sure.
This is funny stuff. If I can get in here for a second. Yeah, Art Ryder was great for years. He had a great band. He did all the Mardi Gras bands downtown, everywhere. But his grandson took over, and he wound up. He's a good drummer. He did a great job. But he called me one day. He said, "Mr. Tony, I can't do it this year." I said, "What happened?" He said, "They towed my truck." I said, "Why did they tow your truck?" He says, "I had a flat tire. I parked it behind a lot, and the police came, and they just towed my truck away, so we can't do it." So it was miserable. But we wound up bailing him out. He wound up getting the truck out, and we did that.
I remember,
And
yeah.
then the truck just broke down. It was years old, but it was cool. So we got the Chalmette marching band. They have a small group who is a jazz band. They're like the Funny 40 Fellows or something like that.
Yeah.
They call themselves. But they were really good. The Kings and Queens used to jump out of their cars and dance with us.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that you made me think about, Eddie Roth was great. But one of the first parades, the girls were our flambeau carriers. And it's hard to march when you have sheets on your body. So some of those folks stepped on their sheets, fell down, and got all cut up. I won't mention who. But anyway, yeah, that was good. So I just want to make sure we knew about Art Ryder.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so much. I mean, there is so much history behind this. And I'm the one that fought to have the flambeau carriers for the women. I did. And I'm like, okay, we have to do this. But I forgot about, we used to have a major pre-party. And I forgot about the pre-party that I had before I became a flambeau carrier.
That was before the parade.
Yes.
And then we had a party after the parade.
Yes, but it was a
The
pre-party.
ones after the parade, I wouldn't recommend having because most of the Kings didn't make it to the Kings party that night.
Tequila party.
Well,
The tequila
but-
parties
The
killed
tequila
most of the
party,
Kings.
Well, the best
They never
thing,
made it to their own show.
But the best thing is, in the olden days, we had it right afterwards. So you never had a party in between. Yeah. So that was nice.
That would have been much better if we would have had the tequila party at the party.
Yeah.
Because there were a few kings who barely made it.
Yeah.
Kings and queens.
Yes.
But anyway. Okay, I'm out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Favorite year?
I'm sorry, we were like really bad, weren't we?
Oh, no, you're wonderful.
So besides your reign, do you have any particular year that stands out as your favorite?
God, I can't remember what year it was, but it had turned really cold. And my kids were riding on the float, and we had finished the float that morning, and I'm over at the club working concessions because everything's going, and my wife's going to ride on the float. And I'm standing in the gate right in front of the club, and I'm looking, and I'm like, this really doesn't look good. And there are clouds coming from two different directions. And I had never seen anything like two fronts converging on each other, and all broke loose. And it was like storming. And I just looked and I said, thank God my kids already passed me, so now I don't have to hear them yelling, Dad, Dad! But it was like, it broke loose. It rained for probably 15, 20 minutes like crazy, and then it was done. But it was like the strangest year we ever had.
My favorite year was the year we moved in, 81, and we had no idea what was going on. And so we just happened to go right there, and the parade is going on, and they had the best floats I've ever seen. I mean, they were all mobile floats. They had Popeye. I mean, everything was animated, and it was awesome. And it was like all the old people that if I would say their names right now, people wouldn't even know who they were. And it was wonderful. It really was. The animation that we used to have was great.
No, I don't remember any of that. No. All the old people stuff.
I'm not going to tell you.
How about you? Do you have a particular?
Not really. I mean, every year was it was just so much fun. I mean, the guys who put it together, or the girls, the ladies, and the guys who put it together really did an awesome job. It was a lot of work for the parade captain and all that kind of stuff, but they did a great job with it. Every year I didn't march every year, but I always had something going on, and with the concessions and the hot dogs and after. I'll never forget the after parties. They were tequila parties. And the tequila parties, the king and queen always came to these parties that we would have, and they would have, I don't know, all kind of variety of tequila. And I remember a few kings that were drinking, and they didn't do shots very often apparently, because he was saying, I don't feel anything. That was?
I'm not. Don't mention names.
Anyway.
But I warned him.
Needless to say, he didn't make it.
I warned him.
We all tried to warn him, and then I remember in my after party, I did a couple of shots. I tried to be as careful as I could, but you couldn't be. And I had been drinking all day, of course, and his wife was my queen. And I went home and took a big old ass nap and made it to the party, but man, I wasn't worth anything like that. So it's every year was unique in itself, but you know, it's kind of like you had to be that kind of thing. So you know, and all of them were great, and everybody. I don't remember even on the freezing. Everybody came out for these days. We paraded in 35-degree weather. We paraded in the rain. I mean, we didn't cancel for much. We did cancel a few, but not that many. But it was great. It was just a lot of fun. A whole lot of fun.
It's not fun to cancel.
Huh?
They canceled one, and it was Super Bowl Sunday, the one they redid it, and it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody wants to come out. Everybody's trying to get to their Super Bowl parties, but you still got to put the kids on the route. So
That's right.
There were a lot of beads in the street.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing really that I've gathered through all of the interviews here is the camaraderie and the fun and you know the honor for sure of serving as royalty for the crew, and you know that so many people who we've spoken with. None of them said that. Oh, I was, working the concession stands and whatnot.
Nobody complained.
To try and become king. No, it was. I just did these things to help out to make this the best neighborhood that we could.
Totally agree. Nobody kids. A lot of people turned down the king.
Yeah.
And then we'll offer the first time, let so and so go. They did more than me, and we'll have our turn, and we kind of probably all were that. Nobody was chasing the throne or whatever you want to call it.
Well, I never knew
We just all
anything
enjoyed being a part of the process,
Yeah.
And you have your time, and it all worked out for everybody. It was a great time then. Our time has passed. It's our children's time. I've got a son with two young kids and a daughter one coming. Don's got kids and grandkids and stuff. So it's their time to come in and do what we were doing when we were their age.
Right.
So, but we still enjoy watching. We'll continue to participate, but it's going to be on a lot lower level.
Yeah.
No tequila parties. Glass of
too
one
long
or
to
two,
recover.
maybe. Yeah.
Too long to recover.
And Arthur, the current king, and I have known each other since we were in high school. He dated my younger sister, and she wanted to marry him, and he said no.
So, one last thing, since he's watching, can you each show them your best royal wave?
Oh, I don't have one of those. How about one of these?
Is that what you do?
Yeah. Teaching author. Yeah, this is the way.
If you have a scepter, it's
No.
You know who gave me a scepter? Vincent from Vincent's restaurant.
there you go.
Yeah, did he?
Oh God! Sterilize that thing before you.
Yeah.
Arthur, whenever you have one like this, you're gonna throw
Yeah.
it. Keep on
You got it from
throwing.
Vincent. Sterilize it.
Yeah.
But give them the wave, the whole big wave. You know, if you want to switch hands, you can do that. Cover both sides.
You did that? I threw the whole entire time. I didn't have a scepter.
I didn't have a scepter.
I don't
I'm
either.
telling him what to do.
Throw the scepter.
Yeah, I had a drink in my hand all the
Me
time.
too. I drank and
What?
They're in trouble. You need a refill.
No, I'm all right.
He's all right.
we're all good.
We're all right.
I really want to thank y'all and the entire crew of Driftwood for inviting us here to give us the opportunity to hear some of these stories.
Well, thank y'all very much
And,
for doing this for us.
And we look forward to seeing y'all out on the parade route.
Oh,
So
yeah.
y'all gonna be here on for the parade.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll be looking for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah?
have to audit a lot of that.
So signing out. We
Unfortunately,
will see you on the route.
that's it.
Woo!